My name is Michael Dunford. I'm one of the managing editors of Area Development and Policy. Area Development Policy is an RSA journal, Regional Studies Association journal. It was set up in 2016, and it deals primarily with issues relating to the development of the Global South. And it set itself a mission originally of trying to publish material that sees development through the eyes of people who live in the Global South, rather than simply through Western lenses, and to promote the development of theorizations that to some extent are different from Western theorizations of development. We're here today to announce the 2022 Best Paper Award. So I'm very pleased to announce that the ADP Best Paper for 2022 award goes to Dimitar Anguelov of the University of British Columbia. Dimitar originated from Bulgaria, but from then grew up in the United States, and he did his master's and PhD at UCLA, and he worked with people such as Eric Shepard, who actually is one of the editors of ADP. The paper itself is called Banking Development, the Geopolitical Economy of Infrastructure Financing, in which he explored in many fascinating ways geopolitical and geoeconomic approaches to infrastructure provision, in analyzing the role of market-based provision and state-led approaches. So I think the editors found it an extremely innovative and interesting and important paper, and for that reason, this paper was actually chosen as the best paper for 2022. So many congratulations, Dimitar. Perhaps you would like to say a few words about this particular paper and about your reaction to receiving this particular award.
Well, thank you very much, Mick. I'd like to thank the Regional Studies Association for this award, and also Area Development and Policy for the opportunity to share my research and engage the pressing debates and issues that the journal seeks to highlight. And given that this paper is based on research in Indonesia, I'd also like to thank the people of Indonesia for their openness and willingness to talk with me and exchange knowledge. And I'd like to very briefly provide a bit of context and touch on the approach taken by the paper. So this is a paper that examines the geopolitical economy of infrastructure financing and how this plays out in Indonesia, focusing in particular on competition between China and Japan. And this is very much a reflection of the conjuncture bracketed by the global financial crisis and its causes and consequences on the one hand, and on the other hand, sort of the concurrent or perhaps a consequent shift in the geopolitical context, which has brought to a head these two competing models of development in their ideal typical forms, the market-based and the state-led approach. And in this context, understanding what was happening in Indonesia and in infrastructure financing more broadly required a conjunctural approach, one that is attentive to the positionalities of key actors with respect to broader structuring contexts. And in particular, I argue that the global financial and trade interdependencies between China, Japan, the United States, and Indonesia created the conditions in which competition for infrastructure financing and development is unfolding, and making infrastructure an important mechanism for addressing political economic contradictions. And I think this is an important counter against more market-centric approaches that tend to interpret infrastructure provision as an issue of market intermediation, but overlook these broader geopolitical economic interdependencies and also alternative logics and practices that are at work. And finally, I think the paper aims to show that notwithstanding competition of these models and interests, These approaches also overlap and combine in complex ways that challenge binary formulations and interpretations of states versus markets that often shape debates. So once again, thanks very much for this acknowledgement, Mick, and I'm honored to receive this award.
Okay, I mean, I think your account of your paper was extremely interesting, and I think what it highlights is that it's a paper that addresses some of the core issues that the journal seeks to address. And in particular, you know, at a point in time where we seem to be living in context of a very major shift in the center of gravity of our world. And I think this paper is significant in that, in a sense, it addresses these critical issues that are shaping the ways in which our whole world is evolving. So I'd like to congratulate you deeply, Dimitar, for this excellent article. I hope it is very, very widely read. I hope it has a very substantial impact, and I hope very much that you will make more contributions to the journal in the years ahead.